Welcome back to the Forge of Champions. We just saw XL get their redemption and take a quick 2-0 over M&M Gaming. Next up, it is going to be Diabolus, the first scoring tournament champions, taking on the Twitter Randoms. Twitter Randoms sounds like a pretty UK meme name, but it's a roster full of very familiar names. You've got Only Angel, who's a UK Prem winner, Skaden, and EU Twisted Fate, who used to play on Hyperion, Bendix, and what's the French pronunciation?
Bendis.
We're going to go with Bendix.
Figure it out.
It's going to be Bendix, mate!
Yeah, I'm going to be calling him Bendix.
Yeah,
I mean, with Skaden and EU Twisted Fate as well, like two players who came over from Hyperion.
Right.
Hyperion had a very weak Prem, but one of the things I do want to note, is EU Twisted Fate was actually one of the top AD carries in the scene. Even though he was in one of the weaker teams, he actually was consistently very good, and there was also a big improvement throughout the year, throughout the split, sorry. And Skaden, as a jungler, is very, very good at reading his opponent. I remember, like, in the early weeks where they were playing some pretty hard matchups, he was just always ahead of wherever, like, Taxa went. I remember famously against Taxa, because Taxa's a very aggressive jungler when he's not on Braum. And Skaden read him. Skaden read him like a book. Like, he just knew what he was doing, and he was always answering him, always counter-jungling him, always counter-ganking him as well, catching Taxa off guard. So I'm very excited to see Skaden actually play, see whether or not he can step up. Only Angel is my major concern.
I would be looking there because, first of all, you have Flaxish against him, who's a really strong, punishing, potentially carry player. It doesn't even have to be with this style of roster, though. And Only Angel, veteran of the scene. He used to play a lot, but more recently has had a bit of a spotty record.
I think it's really important as well to note that Twitter Randoms is a open bracket team. So they've gone through the grueling process. They've gone over to www.forgeofchampions.com. They've signed up.
Don't make it sound like a grueling process. Let's go back. It's actually very easy.
It's actually very easy. They've gone over to forgeofchampions.com. They've signed up for the open bracket. They've made it all the way through. They actually won the open bracket, these guys. Taking out Newcastle Jaguars in the semi-finals. Sorry, not the semi-finals, the actual finals. And so they've done the hard job of getting to the scoring stage where they now get the points. Now they're in the quarterfinals where they're going to get quite a lot of points regardless of if they win this match or not. And so, but the problem is they have to go up against Diabolus. And Diabolus, for those who didn't watch last week's scoring tournament, it's alright, we got you covered. YouTube.com/LVP space UK for all the VODs. It's actually not a link.
It's LVP UK.
LVP UK.
Yeah.
And so they won the scoring tournament. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
They took out Misfits in the semi-finals. And then they took out Wind and Rain. And if you guys want to talk more about how good Diabolus is, you can do it with the hashtag ForgeOfChampions2. Boom! We went through all the sellout points. Let's talk about Diabolus.
I want to talk about the hashtag.
Hashtag?
Yeah.
ForgeOfChampions2.
Hit us up with some questions in the hashtag. I'm willing to answer them.
All right, well,
now,
you've got a question.
We're more than willing to answer them.
They don't have to be League of Legends related.
You have a question.
One of my questions is where do you keep your ketchup? In the cupboard or the fridge?
See, for me, it's in the fridge because I think it tastes better when it's cold.
I don't like ketchup. Can I choose a different sauce?
Well, pick a condiment.
And
where do you
barbecue
put
sauce, for example.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Where would you put
barbecue sauce?
sauce?
Barbecue sauce, definitely in the cupboard. Yeah, mayonnaise goes in the fridge. Barbecue sauce doesn't need to be cold. It can just be in the cupboard.
Yeah.
Every restaurant I've worked at keeps the sauces out, other than ones that need to be cold.
Well,
and
let us know what you think anyway on hashtag ForgeOfChampions2. Also, post some questions in there, and if they're a good one, I'll read them out and.
If they're not, we might still read them out.
Yeah,
depends what we get, really.
I just want to talk about.
And if you have good
stuff.
questions about socks,
let's.
Yes.
How they taste. Let's actually have a look at Diabolus here as a roster, as we will be going through to pick some bands.
Yep.
Flaxish got to play on the side of the Movistar Riders in EU Masters. Had a very good showing. Had multiple Jokerism videos made for him. That's what we called them, the Jokerism packages. Yep. Very, very good player.
Yeah, very good player. I mean, the thing about Flaxish is that he has European LCS experience. And so you expect that when a top laner has EU LCS experience, that they're going to be good. But Flaxish has kind of never really shown up on the big stage. And that's the issue for him.
LCS experience. I mean, it was an experience, right?
I mean, he showed up on the big stage of EU Masters.
EU Masters, he did show up a lot better, for sure.
And so for Flaxish, Diabolus have kind of developed, you could say, a game plan to make sure that he doesn't have issues. Yeah. NG Zeph, the jungle and the mid laner for Diabolus, basically just gank top. That's all they do. They leave Cookie and Anthrax down the bot lane, a very self-sustained lane that has really good kill pressure. When they're on the right champions, we'll find out which champions they do lock in because we go into picks bands. But for Flaxish, he just gets so much pressure put onto him. And even though that game plan is 100% telegraphed every game that they do it, no team has really countered it to a point yet where it doesn't work.
Well, I'm going to be going through into picks and bags. Morgana's going to get taken away. Has been a rising popularity champion here in the UK, so I've seen a little bit more.
The Morgana ban makes no sense to me because so far Twitter randoms have just played the same comps over and over again. They picked Janna, they picked Tristana, they picked you know, Trundle in the jungle. So why aren't we removing these champions that Twitter randoms are constantly playing in every game?
I think Diabolus are looking, look, we know what we play. We're going to ban for that.
Okay.
What Twitter randoms play doesn't concern them.
Potentially.
I think that's what I see from that. If they've, like, Twitter randoms have picked consistently similar things, if they're banning none of that, they're going, Twitter randoms, please play the same comp. We know exactly what to do with it.
The Aatrox ban, it's a respect from Only Angel. Clearly a very talented top laner.
Well, he has a super high win rate as well as a champion.
Yeah, I mean,
Flaxish was the first to pull him out in the UK as well. Against Misfits, it was a pretty poor performance, but he's had a decent amount of time to work on that. Also, Aatrox has, you know, received different adjustments. The Radiant Soul ban makes a lot of sense. It's one of Zeph's most impactful mid laners, and then the Talia as well can go towards NG, can go towards Zeph. Zeph's potential, NG, sorry, is potentially one of the most versatile junglers that we've actually seen. He's picked as probably the most amount of champions so far in the scoring tournament. This Rakan, though, sets up a lot for Diabolus. They love Xayah Rakan, but they just love Rakan.
Yeah, I mean, technically could be the Xayah Rakan funnel. I'm hoping that Diabolus stick to themselves.
Don't say
I don't think they need to. Because the thing about Anthrax and Cookie is that when they get Xayah and Rakan, not only are they a self-sustained bot lane that don't really care if you want to gank them, when they have Xayah Rakan, they actually just win hard. Yeah. And it makes sense because it's Xayah Rakan.
Somewhat predictable there.
I mean,
Janna,
yeah, you really nailed it there. Like,
Tristana maybe coming in third.
Picked up.
Tristana's coming in third, yeah, 100%.
Well, NG actually has the smite, so we're in luck. Not going to see another funnel comp. Hopefully something with a little bit more action early.
You can change the summoners.
No, you can't. that doesn't happen.
They can just change them.
That
doesn't
really
happen.
I don't believe you. I've never seen it.
NG maybe Skarner was a priority.
Yeah.
Lock something.
There it is, the Xayah.
Xayah.
Yep.
So what I do want to hit on actually with this
Rise
currently
is coming, by the way.
Okay.
It could be that's not gonna happen.
No, let's come back to it when
for me,
things
this game is actually about how Diabolus, how cleanly they can close this out. They shouldn't really have too much of a hard time going up against Twitter randoms. You know, they're not an actual org, so to speak. You know, they are, so to speak, in their own name, randoms, but they're obviously randoms from the scene. I'm really insulting them here.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all very respectable players in their own right. They've all played in the scene for a while.
UK randoms.
But they're this,
and they like to use Twitter.
Pick a mix of people who've kind of come together.
Twitter, by the way?
Hitbrain Casts. Yeah. Send your flame that way. But you know, this is Diabolus, a team with a gaming house, a team with an organization. You know,
they have invested a lot of money into this tournament.
Even just the players themselves.
This is a team who probably I don't think Twitter randoms probably scrim as Twitter randoms. When Diabolus are definitely a team who scrim as a 5-man group. You know, they get that practice in. They get to play around each other. They know how each other play. They live together. So for me, it's, do Diabolus play this game nice and clean, or do they have a bit of fun with it? But I think for them, they just want to get through this 2-0 and move forwards to try and get themselves a second win in the scoring stage.
Kai'Sa gets banned. Tristana gets banned. Great bans from Diabolus because they're removing those 280 carries that EU Twisted Fate has wanted to pick all the way through. By the way, Perka Juntu is EU Twisted Fate. It's worth noting that. We will refer to them mostly as EU Twisted Fate because that is how they are known in the community.
That's when someone sends us a message saying, by the way, it's not EU Twisted Fate, that's someone else.
You can blame Ox, who sadly isn't here today. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I would like to come back to the Anivia lock-in.
Okay, sorry, it's definitely EU Twisted Fate. He's playing Varus. Like, that's all he plays.
But
definitely him.
On the Anivia, what happened was, basically, you see Nidalee get locked in, you know they're going to like hard pressure your jungle. Generally, you want something that gets more priority mid lane. And Anivia doesn't really do that.
Right.
So I'm a little questioning a Twitter randoms draft here. I want to see if Diabolus punish that, just give Zeph something massive.
Because we know that Zeph wants to hard push and then roam, does Anivia really,
Anivia doesn't punish that.
Because clearly she can't follow very easily.
At all,
right.
pretty much.
But she can push.
At level 6.
Yeah.
The issue I'm having is Nidalee goes that from level 1.
Oh my goodness. If this talent comes through. That was something we were talking about last
week
with Zeph.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So, here's the thing about talent. He has an incredible power spike at level 2, providing you land both parts of the rake, and level 6.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he kind of he's got his good strengths, but like his level 2 all-in on Bendix actually could wreck that mid lane.
He doesn't even need to all-in on Bendix. Because it's Anivia and she has the egg, he can kind of go, haha, I don't really care about you, I'm going to top lane. I mean, where my Ornn is going to get gank after gank after gank.
My opinion is, you have Engie on the Nidalee.
Right.
You have Nidalee Talon. If you roam anywhere with that duo, it doesn't matter who they are, they're dying.
You have got the Aurelia lock in here for Only Angel in the top lane. Typically we see Only Angel normally play tanks. He does play a bit of the Poppy as well, if you kind of... That's as close to bruises as he normally gets. Yeah. So he's getting himself on Aurelia, who had very, very high priority over the last weekend internationally in Rift Rivals. But normally you see Aurelia go mid than top. So this is one of the first Aurelia tops I've seen in a very, very long time.
You have to remember all those nerfs really gutted her in a lot of matchups.
Yeah.
One of the few matchups they gave her some compensation buffs in was against tanks, because the attack speed at least gives you a bit more consistent damage.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there were a lot of nerfs in there. There's a reason Aurelia's dropped in priority.
I think this is
It's weird you say that, because I've seen so much Aurelia on this patch.
Yeah, I mean,
especially
people
mid.
still play her, but it's dropped in priority. You're not first locking that anymore.
The interesting thing for me is that last week against, I would believe it was Misfits, Flaxish played this Ornn against a Camille. And so you would expect the Camille to be able to deal with the Ornn. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, you know that Diabolus have this game plan where they just focus hard, NG and Zeph come up and gank Flaxish, but actually that wasn't the case. They left Flaxish alone in the top side, and they focused more towards the bot side.
Zeph
Smite Talon.
Smite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm like, as I said, they're a roaming duo.
Wow, okay, so they're really putting focus on Zeph, also trying to maybe counter jungle as much as possible, but when you're sharing a jungle between two players, it gets...
It's not about sharing the jungle. You actually just play a mid lane, and whenever you go invade, you just pick up more of their camps.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's pretty standard.
Now I know.
Yeah. It's no like weird funnel thing going on.
You do lose like a weird amount of kill pressure though, because of the fact that you're running the smite. Obviously the ignite versus Aurelia Anivia is kind of like redundant because of the egg, because obviously if you pop that and have roasted eggs, bit of a splashback there.
Did you say splashback?
I don't know.
I don't know what I say anymore.
Words come out of my mouth. I actually don't know what words are coming out. I just go with it, dude.
Because like it would have been a beautiful callback to the fact that you just can't say phrases correctly.
If you boil eggs, you drop it in the pan, it splashes. But if you roast eggs, you don't put them in water, so there is no splashback.
Also very
splashback
dangerous.
is also something else, which I'm not going to say on broadcast.
Why?
Why go there? Anyway, it turns out if you do roast eggs, they explode, so bad idea all around.
And will Talon explode this game? That is the question, because obviously he needs to snowball, he needs to pop off, thank you very much. So we're going to have to see whether or not you can do that. Does obviously have the parkour to get around walls and can make interesting gank paths. It's a bit like Rek'Sai in that sense.
And Zeph's going to love that. Cookie and Anthrax, we have to focus on them a little bit because they are up against EU Twisted Fate on this Varus. Pretty much every game so far I've seen from Diabolus' Cookie and Anthrax spot lane on Zyra and Rakan has been a level 2 First Blood, and if not a level 2 First Blood, it's been a level 2 Flash burnt, heals are burnt, you have to teleport back to lane because you've basically been killed by them, and they just have lane pressure from that point on.
You are one of the strongest 2v2 lanes. Yep. It makes sense, you just force that. Diabolus, again, we were talking about how much money they've put into the org and even the players.
Yep. They're
strong players. They can pull off Zyra Rakan early easily.
And this is one of the things I've been really enjoying about the UK scene and the growth of the UK scene, especially this year. We saw XL were the first team to move out to Reading and got themselves out of a gaming house. And now a bunch of the other teams are starting to follow suit here. You know, Diabolus getting themselves their own gaming house, you know, investing more into the infrastructure of the team. And it's nothing but positive for the scene.
I'm really enjoying it because as a Manchester boy, it's really fun to have a team based in Manchester, repping Manchester, that you can cheer on.
Have you been seeing them?
I should have. You know, I got a hot tip that they were at the Belong Arena at the Trafford Centre, and I didn't go see them. It's just next door as well.
Trafford Centre's great as well.
So
Yeah,
that's a no.
Yeah, that's a big old no.
I
Go
said
on,
no.
Nick, hook him up with a little tour.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should go chill.
Yeah.
They could hook me up with
Bring
a jersey.
some Pop-Tarts, maybe some champagne.
Yeah.
Champagne and
Vice
Pop-Tarts is a
faster,
classy date.
100%. I'm like down with
Did you say Pop-Tarts and champagne?
Classy date, yeah, cool. Diabolus, if you're watching,
That's what we're
Dalsy's going to
combined,
bring
okay.
some Pop-Tarts and some champagne over.
Oh, wait, I have to bring it?
Yeah, I'm
No,
not
makes
going
sense.
over.
Okay.
It's miles away from me, mate.
No, I mean...
I think he was more hoping they would serve it to
No,
him.
you don't. So, okay, as a guest, you have to bring something, right?
I feel like if you brought Pop-Tarts, it's almost insulting. I
Yeah,
feel like
exactly.
you should
So you
definitely
have to bring the champagne as
yeah.
well, because you can't go, I brought the Pop-Tarts, I'm coming over to your house, did you bring out champagne to your own house? Like, that's not how it works.
I don't think
I love
that's
how
how
you,
anything
I love
works.
how, like, Josh has actually nothing to say here. He's just looking at me like, we need to get into game. He can
I'm,
shut up.
I'm allowing
Bewildered.
you to continue
The
down
problem
this track.
is, the
Yeah.
more you let me talk, the more I dig myself into
Yeah, well,
a
that's
deeper hole.
kind of the fun part of it. I mean, I'm really enjoying it.
Woo, right, League of Legends.
It's fun. So, Varus Jana, do you think it can deal with Zyra Khan early?
No.
No?
Absolutely
No,
not.
it's not even close. Like, they
I don't
just
have
get
to be an
destroyed.
analyst, yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. So, essentially, Diabolus have all of the cards available to them. They have a world-class top laner. They have a roaming mid laner jungle composition with double smite. They've got Zyra Khan. Let's see how Twitter randoms can deal with it.
Let's see how they can deal with it indeed, as we will be taking to Summoner's Rift for the second series of the day.
I mean, I gotta say, I'm hyped for the Talon with Smite. I really like the idea. I love some Nidalee as well. It's just hyper aggressive, very early on. A real good change of pace when we've been casting funnel comps.
Yeah, I'm very glad we might have something a little bit. Just to start us off, as only Angel will just get an auto attack onto Flaxish, but obviously with the Bellows Breath, going to give himself a shield, and now Flaxish going to gain control of the Tribush. Look at him, the victor.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. The level 1, without minions at the very least, is much stronger for Ornn. So, pretty easy trade back for him.
Now, the real question for me is Cookie and Amphorax on the same page here.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm looking at this, and they're starting topside. They're trying to avoid the invade. Instead, they're getting invaded. This is happening.
That's going to be the answer there. Only Angel takes a bit of poke, and Skedden actually just going to get forced off. They even land a spear onto him. And no, the answer is they are not matching on their skins, as Skedden is just standing on top of a bush, but he will be able to get the heal. And actually, with the smite, NG forced to try and run away. The flash is over the wall, and Benedict is there. First pull out onto only Angel.
And I mean, that was a massive mistake. First of all, they missed the smite, right? They let Trundle back in. But more importantly, they actually had Anivia on that wall as NG flashed it. Talon doesn't have the E available yet, just isn't in a position to respond.
He's actually started out with that Hunter's Talisman as well, so not even going for the laning item. Just wants the extra experience when he does go into the jungle to steal away camps.
Yeah. I think that's the big thing, on top of the fact that it gives you some mana regen when you go roaming, which is always nice. You'll come probably out in bot lane or top lane with pretty much full mana. So we'll see how that does play out. I think they messed it up at the start. Twitter random's very happy with how they played that, and well played by Skedden as well to get himself the buff in the middle of that scrap.
Very well read. I believe he chomped smite, so he got a bit of an execute down as well. So.
He actually auto chomp reset, and then got the smite in, so it's actually a lot of quick damage. But I think Diabolus can reset. Okay, they messed up the aggression. They tried something a little bold. Got punished for it. They can kind of just repeat it though. Now that they don't have the Nidalee flash, it's a little more dangerous, but Skedden doesn't have his flash either.
Well, this is one of the big things is, yeah, they burn one flash for 2 on the side of Diabolus, so they're down 2 flashes, which now means if Skedden wants to make a play top side onto Flaxish, he can. The pillar will obviously block him out. You can break the pillar down with Flaxish's charge, if I remember, because it counts as terrain. Am I right there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm glad I know what's going on. I know League of Legends. We are obviously going to see EU Twisted Fate get pushed in early, obviously hitting on the fact that Zyra Khan is just such a strong duo lane early in the game especially. It's just going to oppress Twitter random's bot lane super hard.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see already Anthrax is looking for the W, they're forced to walk back. this should be pretty free farm for them. If they can find themselves a kill, they're better for it.
Only Angel with a stun. Using those Blade Surges, just maxing out the damage. Zamfarax steps forward, gets a heal, gets a good trade, and now Only Angel actually getting engaged on, but Flaxis could be turning it around. Got that Ignite down onto Twisted Fate. Isn't going to result in a kill, but there is going to be a jungler. Skedden's here. Also, Benedix is over the wall, just flashes into the bird, and Cookie will fall down to Benedix. He's trying to stay alive for a little bit longer, and in the top side, Only Angel goes 1v2!
Diabolus are just getting beaten around here. Twitter randoms showing up around the map. I'm really confused as to how Anivia is given so much free reign to make these kind of roams, but fair play, they made it work.
This is versus a Talon as well. We actually have a dive coming through. Great wall will almost catch Xerath, as he is able to ward and hop and jump his way over.
Yeah, actually, an attempted cancel there, just not quite paying out. But let's look at this. Only Angel in the 1v2 gets him a kill. So in comes NG.
Well. Oh,
good
there
stun.
You go.
Wasn't pounced out of in time. Quick WQ. Q again. Solid there from Only Angel.
Gets the heal up as well with the level up. Has the red buff to also get him something. Zenji is hanging around mid lane. Going to be hard for him to actually find a potential kill for the moment. And Twitter randoms really showing up in this game. And now we're seeing why they're that team, but made it through to this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, this is very dangerous from Diabolus' point of view. Okay, let's have a quick look at that fight again. So
I mean, Cookie just flashed into Benedix.
Yeah. I don't think he was expecting the Anivia there. I mean, that makes sense. Anivia is very rare. Anivia roams, especially pre-6, but with the TP, felt comfortable enough to go for it.
Yeah, quite comfortable to catch that wave underneath his turret. Even gets the cannon.
Nice. I'm glad we got that at the end of the replay.
Only Angel with those 2 kills has picked himself up a Tiamat. So going to have a nice amount of shove. Does give himself a little bit of extra damage, but surprisingly we're not seeing the Sheen or the Triforce come out.
Well, the big thing that we see from team... Okay, never
Going to have to hold that fort. In comes Talon. Stun will dissuade them from chasing. In goes Amphirax, trying to get a pick onto the Varus, but not going to be able to do so as the Tornado just skims the back of the bird.
And there's Talon starting to roam now. See, he built the Tiamat as well. And what is really nice about Talon with Tiamat is you throw the rake down, you Tiamat, that's just the wave. It's gone. Yeah. You can instantly roam at that point, and that's all Talon wants to do, especially now that he's taken Smite. So he should have a nice easy time roaming now. But so far, Twitter randoms have had their number on those roams.
Twitter randoms reading the plays very, very well. Only Angel... You know, a player who I said wasn't particularly showing up as the Vanguard's Edge comes out. Yeah. Only Angel looking to get a kill onto NG. Doesn't have a Blade Surge available quite yet, and NG can obviously hop away. So not going to be able to pick himself up a kill.
That's the ultimate forced out from Aurelia, but Aurelia with a very comfortable lead in that top lane, both CS-wide and those 2 kills.
Nice and easy. Just constantly getting himself a bit of shove. Has got himself a CS lead, although we are seeing Xerath on the mid lane, actually with a CS lead over the Anivia. Now Anivia's got ultimate. This will probably change quite quickly. Obviously, Benedix has a very easy time clearing out these waves and just making sure he gets every little bit of CS. The Skedden, a lot more proactive than any of the jungling we saw in the last game. Obviously,
I mean, he knew what to expect when he saw this Nidalee, and now he's making plays.
Oh, the pillar goes down. Flaxis doesn't have that charge. Is going to miss the stun, and Only Angel doesn't have the Vanguard's Edge. Goes in with that Blade Surge, and they're actually going to chase it up. Call of the Forge God does not even come down in time. Now NG with the spear actually might be able to get himself one. Hops forward, and Skedden flashes out. Only Angel now turning it around. Blade Surge is forward, and the stun goes a little bit wide. Only Angel needs to get himself the kill. Turret shot comes through, and he's going to be able to pick it up. 3-0 on the Aurelia.
And Only Angel, I mean, he came in as somebody was saying, he had a bit of a rough time recently, but was previously a long-time veteran of the scene, is starting to come back to form.
Really, really showing up. Yeah, I think we sold him a little bit short in the pre-game, talking about how, you know, he'd been this kind of middle-of-the-pack top laner, being consistently okay, but nothing special. He gets his hands on a Bruiser. A Bruiser who you said wasn't particularly as strong anymore, but...
Not as strong anymore. Still plenty strong, as we're seeing.
Clearly. I'm just trying to call you out, mate. That's all I'm doing.
Oh, yeah. Of course. But I think the big thing for me is that this Nidalee and Talon combo has not happened. I mean, they still have time to make it work, but that time's quickly running out. It's supposed to be done in the early game. They started off with the big invade. That didn't work out, and since then, Skedden has had a very comfortable time.
Skedden going to be kind of farming up a Storm, trying to keep it a little bit even, but obviously does have himself that kill. Now we're going to see a replay of the dive in the top.
It was actually nice from Flaxish to dodge that stun in the first place, but I think he wasn't just wasn't expecting how much damage Skedden had by himself. And this is nice. Wait for the Nidalee to pounce so NG is completely forced into this play, and then pick it off with the W right at the end.
Just picks him up. I did think he was going to overcommit for the kill, but didn't actually do so. Was able to pick him up with that W, like you said. And now we're seeing a bit of attention come towards this bot lane for Twitter Randoms. Going to get themselves up that Scuttle Crab. Maybe want to get themselves the Cloud Drake as a constellation prizes. Anthrax actually goes in, but is just going to be forced straight out. And in comes Skedden as well. Remember that hop's not available. Anthrax actually could get caught out. Chains of Corruption. Not going to quite land though.
It's good attempt, good attempt. I like what they were going for. The Chain of Corruptions would have been really strong there, and Rakan had just used a Z.
Vanguard's Edge is available to Only Angel. Oh, the Zhonya's by Flaxish will make sure that doesn't actually come down. Do still have a Blaze Surge, and Only Angel can chase for more. He's going aggressively forward, and Flaxish forced out of the lane. As Skedden now making a play, potentially in mid lane, does have the pillar.
And he's going to pillar his way out of there. I mean, that makes sense. He was just trying to, I think, relieve some of the pressure that the Talon Nidalee combo were starting to put on Bendix. As he's getting awful low in that mid lane.
He does still have the egg, to keep that in mind. So if they do go over aggressive.
Something I actually didn't touch on from Bendix is that he's gone for this phase rush. What that gives you as a Nivea is, as soon as they try engaging you, you quickly try get the QE off and just run. And as an immobile mage, that can be really handy, especially when you're playing against such high burst damage champions.
Actually a very nice pickup indeed. Obviously, while we're looking at these runes and masteries, Cookie and EU Twisted Fate have been able to pick themselves up a Fleet Footwork as their item. Do we still see Fleet Footwork quite as much?
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty common. Yeah. I mean, you see press the attack on certain people, but the whole thing about Fleet Footwork is it was nerfed if you're just autoing minions. If you can get any form of lane priority, as long as you're hitting champions, it's still roughly the same.
You've got to keep in mind, this team who are currently 5 kills down, 2,000 gold down, are the team who won the last group stage. Mm-hmm. So, actually very interesting to see, you know, Twitter Randoms really push them and punish them early on in the game for over-aggressive plays. We are actually seeing the engage. A great wall will just get hopped over. Call of the Forge Score from Flaxish isn't enough, but there's the Shadow Assault and a pillar to slow him down. Going to take 2 turret shots. Zeref forced to hop out. Teleport actually gets cancelled out. And there's 4 members here in this mid lane looking to try and get a pick. A lot used and nothing gained.
That was a lot. I mean, Zeph really committed for that. He flashed forward and he didn't even really come close to proccing Egg. I thought that was really strange. I think Diabolus are starting to get really impatient knowing that their comp doesn't scale well.
Yeah, having a bit of a problem there. And I'm glad you hit on the scaling as well, because the scaling moving into late gets very, very hard for them to actually do anything. As Seraph could get stunned up underneath the tower, taking a lot of damage, a great wall, but he's able to hop over it with the parkour. Seraph now looking to turn it around one more time. Actually might be able to pop the egg here. Bendix just waiting for a little bit more cooldowns to come up. Throws down the E. There's a good pillar. Skedden looking to make an arrest here. Seraph, you're nicked! That's going to be one onto Skedden, and now NG forced to run away. Not going to be able to turn it for another kill, but a great punish by Randoms.
And again, just Skedden is all over the map where he needs to be. You bring this Trundle around, you find this, you manage to counter gank this, and what could have gone really poorly for you quickly turns around. Let's have a look at Zeph here. I think he is trying to make these plays work, but as soon as he queues forward for those 3 minions, that's just overly greedy. He's going to get chunked out for that. It was a very smart turnaround from him. If he'd managed to get 1 more auto off, that bleed would have guaranteed egg. NG still gets it, but Skedden is here in time that he can just shred through Zeph immediately with the ultimate.
Yeah, at least NG was able to pop the egg as like a consolation prize. Now, Diabolus actually been very proactive on the map, are going to take themselves down the Cloud Drake, but the response from Twitter Randoms is actually going to be them picking up the Rift Herald, who is currently on Skedden for the moment. So see where he wants to use that. I would expect him to use it in mid to kind of slow down Zeph on this Talon.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You know, you want to just continue the pressure you have. Your lanes are going fine. I would be worried about bot lane if I were them. I think maybe see if you can get Skedden down with Bendix again, if possible. But They're actually just going to look for first tower, use the lane they already have winning to secure it early on.
Well, only Angel can shove the wave in nice and fast, obviously with Blade Surge, proccing off the Tiamat.
The response, though, is to look for a 4-man dive bot lane, see if Diabolos can pull it off.
Got to keep in mind, they are trying to dive on to Avaris Janna, so there is a lot of disengage. It looks like Diabolos is just going to be able to settle up with getting himself a turret, so it's a turret trade. And that Rift Tower will be able to charge topside one more time. They're going to get the double use out of it. The full-on Sheldon coming through. They're even going to throw down the Ram Jam as Flaxis gets himself a knock-up, instantly gets stunned, and Only Angel trying to reposition underneath the turret. Does dodge out, throws down the Vanguard's edge. And this will be 2 turrets for 1 for Twitter Randoms.
And I mean, considering the momentum they have, this just cements it further. And look at that, a 4k gold lead. And I mean, we put it pretty bluntly that these guys were coming in as the underdogs, so it is amazing to see them step up so importantly in this game 1.
It's really, really great to see, you know, the underdogs in this game step up. You know, we had our doubts. I definitely voiced them as well. But they're playing very well. They're punishing Diabolus, reading the map. And this is going back to that point I made at the beginning with Skedden. He's very good at reading his opponent junglers, and he's very good at making the plays off it. We are going to see maybe something happen here as NG's there. Do obviously have the quickness, the flash forward, instantly popped back. That's going to be Chains of Corruption going a little bit wide, but Zeph is here. Teleport comes through from Only Angel. Also going to be Bendix. This is a bit of a party in the bot lane.
Yeah, Bendix a little low on mana, but you have to remember that's with Tyr and Roa finished, so still enough mana to get a good combo off, but so forces Diabolus away.
I mean, Diabolus did actually burn 2 teleports though, so good.
Well, just the one.
Well, sorry, no, 2 teleports from Twitter Randoms.
Oh, sorry.
So actually, not overall the worst thing. That's going to be the 3rd teleport being used by EU Twisted Fate, sending him up to top side to go pick up some farm up. So no teleports now for Twitter Randoms, and Diabolus need to play around this. They need to look to punish this.
I think they need to use the strength of their Xayah Rakan and try get some fights off with that, because right now, in a full-on 5v5, they're still going to struggle because you have 2 people focused on assassinating, and they're not finding the picks very easily. And of course, you have Janna, who's really good against these assassins. And I think this plays back into the draft, where we saw Diabolos just didn't care about what Twitter Randoms picked. They were like, we'll give you your comfort picks, we'll just pick our own really aggressive things. Potentially disrespect, and they're getting punished for it.
I mean, it's really nice to see actually this top lane jungle duo from Twitter Randoms constantly looking to pressure onto Flaxish. We are seeing a bit of a response though from Diabolus, sending multiple members bot lane in case they tried for a turret or a dive. And obviously, the Varus just looking to scale up, has that Rage Blade under his belt, probably looking to get himself the Hurricane next. And it's just a Storm Razors, sorry, on Cookie, on the Xayah.
Twitter Randoms' push has been slowed here.
Yeah.
This is good for Diabolos. It gives them time to potentially get their assassins enough damage to kill people, but realistically, the longer this game goes on, the more I think Twitter Randoms should have a comfortable game. So I'd worry Diabolos need to, first of all, get even, and then find an opening.
Well, we're seeing Benedix actually look to pick himself up his Zhonya's as soon as possible, so he'll be a little bit more survivable. We're now also seeing Twitter Randoms pick himself up a 3rd tower of the game in the bot lane, and it looks like they're continuing that push up there. Twitter Randoms just looking to ward up and try and stop a turret going down in the top side. They're sending multiple members up there. Benedix doesn't actually have his teleport available quite yet, and neither does Only Angel, so might just be the Ram Jam coming out from Flaxish. It's going to land it up onto Skedden, but Only Angel just clears this wave out nice and simple, and they're going to look to try and answer back with yet another turret stun. Is there by Only Angel. It's going to connect on. They're actually going to dive. Does have the Vanguard's edge. It does connect in as well. There's all the resets. He's disarmed, and Only Angel just deletes him out. NG now taking a lot of damage here from E Twisted Fate. Great Monsoon from Zeph. Will keep E Twisted Fate up for a little bit, but is going to result in him dying to the Talon. Talon goes forward one more time. In comes Amphorax. Doesn't miss the charm. Varus gets the kill. That was beautiful. And the turret will fall in the bot lane.
Twitter Randoms staying ahead here, and they're just continually getting these towers. And that's the 2nd time they've ended up looking to trade 1 tower and getting 2 in response. Because Twitter Randoms are allowed to just continue their push.
They're
potentially
still
looking
going.
for 3. I mean, there's no need to stop.
I mean, there is no need to stop. There's still bases trying to come through. Only Angel's going to take that out. They're diving underneath the tower. Now, NG needs to be very, very careful as the collapse is coming through. Amphorax tries to look for maybe a dive, but Only Angel's putting the damage out. Is going to miss the stun onto NG, but lands it onto Amphorax. The Blaze Surge resets there. He's chunking the damage down, and NG needs to be so careful.
they need to leave. I mean, Angel Only is just, Only Angel is just taking over the game, and there's not much they can do about it, because every time they've tried to respond with 4-man ganks, it's been played safe enough.
That was such a well-done dive here by Skedden and Only Angel. We do see Skedden obviously use the Subjugate as well, so it does look like the Aurelia's doing a lot more damage than she should be doing, but really, really good snowball here from this duo, and Skedden and Only Angel seem to just be on the same book. They seem to be playing perfectly together. And the rest of the team are playing very well around them as well. They recognize where the power is, and they don't want to give too much up on the other side of the map. So we're seeing you, Twisted Fate, and Tatanel just kind of take a bit of a step back and just look to farm up for the moment. And while 3 turrets go down in the bot lane, Zeph finally takes down this turret topside.
And from my point of view, it's all on Twitter Randoms now. Can they force one more fight? If they can get that, it's Baron, and they can start looking at closing out this game, because they've already taken an inhib tower.
Well, here comes the call of the Forward God. Looks like Anthrax will be able to pick him up with the quickness. There's going to be an egg getting popped. Can they get that damage out in time to kill the Anivia? It looks like Steph's going underneath the turret, gets it with a Shadow Assault. Chasing forward is going to be NG going underneath the turret, but in comes the rest of the squad. Aurelia is on the side. Only Angel lands himself a ultimate onto 2 members. The Skedden's chasing for more. Doesn't have that pillar quite available. Chains of Corruption go wide from EU Twisted Fate. Turret in the mid lane will fall down, and a well-coordinated dive by DIABOLUS will net them some gold and a kill.
Talon should be able to get away with the Assassin's Path.
He's so hard to catch.
Yep.
He's so hard to catch.
Yeah, and out he goes most likely. Looks like they're continuing the chase here, though.
They are continuing that chase. Skedden is there, going to spot him on a ward. They decide not to go for it anymore. And we could just see a turn onto Nasha. They've got the damage with the Varus here, but looks like they're not going to do so.
It'd be too early. You just saw a lot used from both sides, and it's unnecessarily dangerous for a team that already has the lead. Better to crack open that outer tower and get jungle control.
Well, Call of the Forge God's down for a little bit for Flaxfish. There's no way to dissuade a dive, even while he was also in that bot lane. And Cloud Drake is on the table, so looks like Twitter Random's going to pick themselves up their first Drake of the game. Get himself a little bit extra movement speed, which is actually very good for this team because of the fact they're playing a lot around these rotations.
Even
just means them a little bit faster.
You have 2 immobile carries. It's just handy to be able to reposition very quickly.
Yeah.
And it scales well with Phase Rush. It's always pretty funny. That little bit of extra move speed on top of your extra move speed.
Woo! Just running around the map. Right. Bit of a reset from Twitter Randoms. Take a bit of a step back, a bit of a breather. Gonna recall, pick up some items. You got that Trinity Force, the Titanic Hydra finished up on Only Angel. Zeke's Convergence on Skedden. I'm actually curious to see who he's put that on. I expect it to be on Only Angel, because he's been the kind of person he's been with a lot. Obviously, you don't use quite as many auto attacks, but he does rely on them still, especially with his passive. Skedden, as you might find out, a Talon could just get picked up by the quickness there, diving straight onto him and shut down. NG's able to pick up the kill onto the jungle.
You have an assassin comp. You need to just brush camp at this point. You're too far behind to actually take fights. 6k at this point. You just hope to God they walk somewhere you can find them. Because if they don't, you're just going to keep struggling. And even with that kill, all they do is slow them down.
And they could have gone for Nasha, but they saw Only Angel pushing bot lane. And they were going, is it worth losing the inhibitor for Baron Nasha? Only Angel doesn't overgreed, but they do step back just in case that was actually an option.
They also have to respect that Varus and Anivia, when you're stuck in the Baron pit, do a lot of quick damage. And there's a lot of zoning involved there. Better just avoid that entirely. See if you can reset, see if you can get another pick.
I actually want to keep my eye, on EU Twisted Fate, because he's actually missed quite a few of his Chains of Corruption, and quite a few. I don't think I've seen a single one land yet.
There's been a lot. I'm going to call them, say they were dodged, but there was a mixture of both.
Sure. There was definitely a couple that maybe were definitely not in range, even if they were dodged.
There were definitely some questionables in the meantime, and I mean, when you've landed 0 ultimates, that's when you probably should be concerned, yeah.
NG going to be taking away the Scuttle Crab, providing a little bit of vision for DIABOLUS around this area, around Nasha, knowing that it is a threat, it can go down nice and quick. Only Angel does need to be very careful as there's 4 members hanging around, and yes, he's fed, yes, he's ahead, could still get picked up nice and easy.
You have to remember, he has a large bounty on his head. So if he goes down, there's a lot of gold coming back into DIABOLUS' pockets.
Yeah, he's probably worth about 700-800 gold right now.
Yeah. Give or take. I could do the maths out, but I think people get the idea of it's a lot of money. So from here, they just start moving towards this Baron. They still have map control. Aurelia has no tower to deal with her.
Yeah.
So they just need to make sure that the Baron is being gone for by DIABOLUS, that they are checking it, and Aurelia can just go down there.
Well, Spear into the two-man charm, into the call of the Forge God, just rinsing through everyone on the side of Twitter randoms. That's going to be one picked up by Zeph on the Talon. Eskedin now on the run, trying to slow Memphis down. He flashes forward, has that Tiamat. In comes Only Angel, gets himself a stun, has the Blade Surge available as well. Not going to go for more, and it's just the one for none in favor of DIABOLUS.
And again, just finding the picks. Really good response from them. They've kind of reset and found what their win condition is, and they're just doing it over and over again now.
Just blowing nerds up. Let's see this play once again.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have Rakan, go for it, flash forward, you have the Nidalee to follow as well, instantly pop the egg, and Zeph just finishes it off at the center.
Yeah, picks him up nice and simple. Actually, surprising how little the Monsoon healed them up as well. Like, really struggled to actually get the heals off there, as Baron Nashor still is up for the moment. It's still an option for this team. And remember, this is an AP Varus as well, so he does take down these objectives nice and fast. I mean, a Varus with any items really takes down Baron Nashor pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, the percentage HP that you get from AP is that much nicer.
Yeah.
On top of the fact you just have a crazy amount of attack speed. Always handy.
Pretty filthy. Only Angel just going to clear out the wave. Aurelia clearing waves, by the way, is always been one of the most satisfying things you can see in this game.
I actually prefer it before she gets the Titanic Hydra, because I think the circles are more satisfying than these weird kind of cones that all go in different directions as you queue onto them.
Remember, there's no Ed on Bendix. Not going to actually change for more. It's going to be a three-man Baron. No vision here, and the rest of Twitter randoms are just zoning them out. Baron, I can't quite see the HP. It's just about 50% for the moment. NG is hanging about over the wall. Very, very low. A good pillar. Spears connected. Flashes over. NG steals the Baron, and the fight is looking to start out. Not going to chase for more. NG, that was gorgeous.
And he didn't even, go for the Q smite. He managed to flash it, get the smite, and get himself out of there. Insane for NG.
That was exactly what DIABOLUS needed. They need to deal with these big waves that are stacking up now. Meanwhile, the rest of DIABOLUS are actually pushing for more. This is going to be very, very big for them. We are going to see that replay once again, but I want to cut back to the game as quick as possible.
Yeah,
Just a really good steal.
Great smite, but I think the big thing is look how quickly they've shifted the momentum.
That's going to be a charm. Vanguard's edge is there. Monsoon to keep Only Angel alive for a little bit. Does have the ability to go golden, but just going to burn a couple of flashes.
And that massive gold lead has literally been halved. It was at 6k, now down to 3k. Much more manageable. DIABOLUS looks like they know how to get picks, and Twitter randoms just can't seem to get the more comfortable team fights they're looking for, because they just have this Rakan diving on them from nowhere.
Well, we are going to see the teams recalling out now. Twitter randoms need to try and buy time, because DIABOLUS, with that Baron still, have managed to find themselves some momentum in this game. It was looking dire, but now it's looking better, as Mountain Drake will be spawning as well, so these structures can fall even faster, and the late game insurance for Twitter randoms starting to be threatened by DIABOLUS.
Yeah, and I think now they have the entire run of the map. It's suddenly turned into a much more dangerous game for Twitter randoms, and part of that is they're just very uncomfortable leaving their Aurelia split pushing, because they need her to even go even in fights.
Well, it looks like they're making their way down. Mountain Drake will go down before anybody from Twitter randoms can actually get theirs. Going to be smited out. Call of the Forge God from Flaxish. Maybe going to look for the fight. Ramjam goes a little bit wide. Bendix is just getting assaulted on and picks up a great pillar. Will buy some time as the charm doesn't go wide. They're still trying to find this opening. Shadow Assault on the top side of the map going golden. Twisted Fate picks himself up. One kill. Zampharax getting chunked out and knocked down. A double kill is going to be picked up by Twisted Fate. Only Angel stepping forward. Does throw down the Vanguard's edge, but it did go a little bit wide. 2 for 1 for Twitter randoms.
Much better for them. They managed to find themselves the team fight. It's a little less hectic. They had the Zhonya's distracting the Talon for that little bit longer, and you had Only Angel in the center of the fight with a GA as well that has yet to pop. they can now force their engage.
Only Angel gets a stun. He gets picked up underneath the turret. Does have that GA, though. Do you need to be careful about that?
He's dead.
Can Blade Surge behind into a minion. That is all he can do. On the run, shields Monsoon. Everything gets used, and he stays alive. Now, Zeph looking to chase up, but a tornado will dissuade him for the moment. He is hopping and jumping forward. He really wants to get that shut down onto Only Angel, who will be able to make his way out. Great disengage by Twitter randoms, but a questionable attempt at a dive.
I mean, Satanel saving it there. I was like 100% certain. You have a bunch of feathers behind the Aurelia. It should be free. Jumps out straight away and doesn't quite get picked up. But let's look back at this team fight that went that little bit better for Twitter randoms. So the forced engage from Diabolus is a little split. They want to go onto Bendix and the other 4 at the same time. And it's just not as cohesive as it has been previously. Talon is not in this fight at all for them. So Only Angel is able to find a lot more openings quicker.
And I mean, if Zeph was there, he could have blown up EU Twisted Fate, but he spent so long trying to deal with the bird that he basically just, the team fight was lost outside of that. We then see, obviously, here, Only Angel get a little bit confident. You know, he thinks he's got his GA, he thinks he's got basically a bar and a health of health, but doesn't expect how much damage that Zaya is going to be able to do. Luckily, the minions means he can Blaze Surge out. Satanel has to heal and also use the Monsoon to keep him alive, though.
You had all the feathers behind it. I thought the Blade Collar was going to come in, but must have just been on cooldown as Zaya didn't pull it to kill the Aurelia. And from there, the shield just in time to avoid dying to autos.
Now, Twitter randoms actually haven't lost too much to the Baron still, luckily for them. But if they had got that Baron, they maybe been able to crack open the base and actually get themselves a pretty neat victory. But Skedden getting outsmited has obviously bought Diabolus a lot of time and kept them in this game. Cannot emphasize how well NG did that.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me is, you know, Diabolus shouldn't scale as well, but what's happening is they know the limits of their champions that little bit better. They're able to split up fights as they like, and they have a lot of force engage with Ornn Rakan.
It does feel like they're fighting on their terms.
Yes.
Instead of letting Twitter randoms run them around the map. See, maybe looking for a stun. Does actually land onto 2 members, but not going to chase over anymore. Just going to give that blue buff over to Varus.
And that's the issue here. As you just mentioned, it's that Diabolus have been controlling when fights go on, and I think just they don't have a huge amount of engage on the side of Twitter randoms. You have basically the wall and Trundle Pillar. That's
you got the Vanguard's Edge as well.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen that as soon as that comes down, they just immediately disengage, they start running away, and it's difficult to deal with, and it's not as long range as something like as easy as the Rakan or Ornn, let's say.
Yeah.
So part of that's a bit of the weakness of Janna, to be honest. There's a reason Janna isn't particularly popular right now, and she can't really force engages and doesn't do as well in the mid game as certain other picks. But right now, I mean, it saved them once or twice, so
it's nice also to see Satanel has that Crucible finished up. Is obviously meaning if someone gets, like, if they do layer that CC on to EU Twisted Fate or Only Angel, you can buy them out. GA is about 2/3 of the way off cooldown now, so pretty close to being back up, and that's when I expect to see Twitter randoms start to play more aggressively again, because they want to keep Only Angel up in the fights. He is the assassin / bruiser, so his job is to get onto Cookie, kill him out, maybe try and get NG at the same time as well, and just let EU Twisted Fates go untouched while Janna keeps him up.
I mean, their comp has really good zone control, so what they should be doing right now is you have 30 seconds, Baron's coming up, start gaining control of the area, you already have vision control, you should just, they're trying to get their backs in now, just so they have as many items as possible to fight this. They have the 2 Zhonyas and the Mikhails, which is really all you need to win a fight when they're forced to engage onto you where you want them.
I mean, it makes it harder for Zeph as well on the Talon. Now, like, the 2 people he wants to blow up are the people with Zhonya's hourglasses. You know, they can just get away with that little bit of tick of bleed and make sure that it doesn't drop them down, or if the all-in comes in, they just Zhonyas before the Shadow Assault can actually do too much damage. Now, we are seeing Diabolus turning their attention towards Baron Nashor that has spawned up. Only Angel is sitting with Teleport in the bot lane for the moment, is trying to walk up. His Infernal Drake also spawns in 40 seconds, so quite a lot of objectives are available to both of these teams, and keep your eyes on Only Angel. Could maybe looking for a flank, isn't actually going to do so.
I mean, I'm keeping my eyes on Anthrax. If he can find another engage, this could be the Baron for them again.
Well, Talon is actually at base. We don't see that Twitter randoms are fully aware of that. Just going to try and clear out this vision. Lots of control wards going down and a massive wave in the top side. Someone has to go deal with that. It probably will actually be Bendix, as he does also have TP and just very fast wave clear. As the Infernal Drake is now spawned, so if you go for the Drake, you potentially lose Baron Nashor.
I think the bigger issue right now is you have a slow pushing wave in the bot lane that only Angel left there. They should be able to force a fight and still have that on them, so Diabolus are trying to up the tempo.
I'm amazed that Twitter randoms aren't just turning their attention towards Baron. That Infernal just melts down, and in comes the chase. Call of the Forge God's going to get thrown down, looking for the sun. Zeph just blows up Saturnale. Going to go golden already, and Cookie is just pumping out the damage. Only Angel dives into the backline, already forced out, as everyone's very, very low on the side of Twitter randoms. NG trying to get that spear, trying to get that damage. Can't pop the GA, as EU Twisted Fate is very, very low. Gets caught by the knocked up and shut down. That was absolutely fantastic by Cookie. They're chasing for more. Seth looking to try and get himself a stun. Is going to be able to get it onto NG. A stun comes through from only Angel. And this means Baron Nashor will get picked up by Diabolus.
Yeah, they should have the Baron here as well. Beautifully played by them. Again, just finding the pick once more. This time in the center of a team fight. Only Angel with the response, though.
Well, he just TP'd in. He's got that big, big wave to work through. Is the inhibitor going to go down? And Nashor also getting started up. We're going to a replay.
And let's have a look here, because the fight starts, there's someone on the back foot, but they just get the pick immediately. And down goes Janna. It's a 4v5. Skeddon's left there, and what I really like about this is Flaxish just consistently starts walking up, making sure he's in the way of the carries, so everyone's forced to play around him, and when they don't, they get knockups like this.
And obviously Jungler was down. I want to get back into the game nice and snappy and see the state of the Baron. Obviously has not been picked up. We do see Diabolus were obviously forced off it. Not sure exactly what happened there. Maybe it was Skeddon being back with Flash and Smite available.
We actually saw them all start their backs as soon as they saw only Angel. I think that was a massive wave. If they'd started the Baron, it would have given them potentially both Nexus towers in time.
Remember, they are ripping through these. They've obviously got the Mountain Infernal, so we are seeing a serious amount of damage coming through. So do obviously have that in mind. There's only Angel. Still got that GA available. Gonna look for the stun. Call of the Forge Gods coming through. It's gonna be a great Vanguard's Edge. And there, Skeddon actually just flashes over the wall. Gets caught by the knockup. There's gonna be the Chains of Corruption. It's looking to change out, but the Monsoon, Seth, gets himself one more assassination. But the fight is going in favor of Twitter randoms. They found themselves a shutdown. It's just Cookie who remains. And the base should fall here to Twitter randoms. Diabolus fall apart.
I think this could be it. I mean, that was insane from them. They managed to get the one team fight off. Zeph did the exact same thing, but this time, once Saturnale went down, no one else did, because you just had people jumping around the back of the fight for them.
Well, Cookie's the only one up. 30 seconds death time are remaining. Emphrax is obviously coming back in about 17 seconds, and now we're seeing Twitter randoms turn their attention towards trying to end the game. Skeddon will tank out the first few tower shots while the minions make their way in. Remember how much attack speed Varus has. Cookie has to make a miracle happen, trying to pump that damage out, but only Angel dives in. Nexus is going down, and Twitter randoms dethrone Diabolus.
Absolutely insane from these guys, coming in as the heavy underdogs. Their early game was really good. Partly, let's be honest, because Diabolus played so scrappy and went for this such an aggressive style. But certainly Twitter randoms, as the game scaled forward, you're like, okay, they're being picked off. Maybe it's not going to go so well for them, but managed to find themselves one more team fight.
I do have to hit shaky mid game for Twitter randoms, but outside of that, they played very, very well.
I mean, Twitter randoms kind of played a game of roulette, it felt, and kept betting on black. Like, it was just like, if it comes up red, it's definitely going to be black next time. Oh wait, it wasn't. It's going to be black next time. Eventually they figure it out. They have a 5-0 Irelia. Like literally only Angel was the most fed thing in this game. You can see it time and time again. Flaxish could not deal with it, and Zeph and NG were not able to shut him down. Why don't you just go split push bot? Playing team fight composition is what Diabolus want. It's how they win games. They have no answer to your Irelia. Eventually, when they eventually figure out, oh wait, we kind of have to stop this Baron, go split push Irelia, take the inhibitor, then they had cracked the base. All they had to do, probably, I mean, 10 to 15 minutes earlier, was put only Angel in a solo lane because they couldn't deal with it.
The biggest issue was that they needed Irelia to split push, and they needed Irelia to team fight. They needed Irelia to do everything, and it was kind of being dragged around the map. Finally, they managed to get one fight that works, but only Angel was just really struggling to stay doing what he wanted to do for that whole game. and I think their mid game suffered for it.
So I think this is a case of experience versus talent.
Lack of experience.
I mean, like, you want both experience and talent, right?
Yeah.
That's like the perfect combination. What we have here is a team in Twitter Randoms who clearly have some good talent. However, they're not experienced yet as a roster because of whatever reason.
Yeah, so they're not
so
experienced as a roster and as a team,
Right.
but as individuals, they're very experienced in professional play.
Exactly.
A lot of these players have been around for a very long time, so...
And a lot of these players have been the top in their role at various stages throughout the UK competitive scene as well.
Yeah, so I mean, like, while you're right in saying that they're not experienced, like, as a 5-man unit,
Yep.
this kind of, like, experience playing in 5-man units and playing in like a competitive setting definitely showing through here, and you're seeing they have a very clear game plan,
Right.
You know, stick Skedden and Only Angel together and let those two run away with it. And it also feels like the rest of the team are just always on the same page, which I can't say the same is for DIABOLUS in this game. Like, there were a few engages where it looked like, okay, DIABOLUS went, we need to fight. But, like, outside of that, it felt like they weren't really playing to the same strengths.
When we saw the Call of the Forge God and the Rakan going at the same time, it was great. When you see them separate, that's when their team fights struggled.
Yeah, and I think DIABOLUS definitely very practiced at going for engages and playing this style.
But they were always playing from behind is the issue.
Yes.
And all it required was Twitter Randoms to take ownership of the game and finish it. This was the moment when DIABOLUS's, I guess, experience from playing behind wasn't enough to take a team
Look
fight
at
win.
Skedden.
Yeah, I was about to say,
the
the
whole time.
bravado of Skedden to flash that wall into 3 members and just buy
look-
time. He does not die, and the subjugate that is actually the most filthy healing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That was
It was
actually
Janna
dirty.
plus Trundle in the center of a fight,
Oh.
and that distracted literally 4 people at once.
Yeah.
Like, Zeph still gets the one shot onto Janna. It just doesn't matter anymore because the fight's already won.
I mean, do you know what the really cool thing about ForgeChampions.com is?
Okay.
Is that you can go onto the website and look at all the previous drafts from, you know, the scoring tournament and the open tournament. This qualifying tournament 2, I should say. Tristana, Janna, Trundle, all core picks in every draft that the Twitter Randoms have tried to put out here.
Didn't play Tristana.
I mean,
That's where they caught him. They expecting the Tristana.
I will say I was not particularly impressed with the bot lane. I think there's not much Janna could do, right? Obviously, but
I think Zaya Rakan, they were meant to lose.
it's not about the lane. Outside of the lane, I still wasn't particularly impressed with what they're doing.
What
I
about
think
the team fight
Bandix and Only Angel were what really carried them through those
100%,
fights.
100%. But there was one team fight where it was actually DIABOLUS who won the team fight, right up until EU Twisted Fate on the Varus got a double kill,
Right.
and Bendix
the
did win the
entire
fight
time,
for the team,
Bendix
right?
was not able to be part of the team because Zeph was trying to solo
and so he
assassinate him.
played that fight very well because he knew he was going to die. He knew he had egg, but like realistically, he knew that Zeph on a Talon was going to 1v1 him and beat him. There was no way that he was going to lose that fight. But all he needed to do was give time over to EU Twisted Fate on the Varus to put that damage out.
I feel like he played really well in the late game. EU Twisted Fate.
100%.
Like I disagree with you, Celtic.
Fair enough.
I
think they played their role very well in that
absolutely.
game.
And so the thing that I want to see from DIABOLUS, 1, a little bit more respect. RESPCT. All right. 2, from Twitter Randoms, I just want to see them close out because that was a beautiful game from them. They won early, they won mid, they failed to close out for so long. It could have been a much quicker, more dominant game, and we would have been sitting here going, what the hell happened to DIABOLUS between last week?
Part of that was a weakness of the comp. I was saying that they lacked engage, and that meant that when you're ahead, it's much harder to just go, okay, let's go for a big fight and we'll win. Because most of their engage was tied to either Trundle Pillar, Anivia Wall, or realistically, because you've Talon jumping over those the whole time, you needed Aurelia.
This is the point where experience matters the most. You're down 1-0 in a best-of-3 series. We'll have to see what DIABOLUS are discussing during this break. Twitter Randoms are up 1-0. Will they continue? We'll find out later.